Hello everyone, I'm Love here, back again with another Awaken Chaos Era video. So in today's video, I'll be creating a guide on the newly released legendary hero in the game, and the hero is Muriel. She's currently available in this limited summon for 10 days and 22 hours at the point of this video recording. And if you're wondering whether it's good to get her, I will demonstrate her skills as well as how effective she is in the game. So from there, you'll know whether she's worth it for you, for your account, before investing your Stardust to get her. And do take note that the Ace developers have already implemented a new feature to this limited summon, which is if you do not get Muriel for the 2 summon when you hit the PT, the third summon will be a guaranteed Muriel. So if you have already obtained Taliesin as well as Aphrony, but you want to get Muriel, then this is one of the best time to do so, but it's pretty expensive compared to advanced summoning crystals. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this is my Muriel, and this is her character animation, where she uses her hands to blow up some purple flames to burn out the enemies. So let's take a 360-degree look on how her character design is made. So she's basically in a wheelchair, and she's dressed in like a purple-black theme. And the one scariest thing is she has like a large spider on top of her that's hanging at on her chair here, a leather chair. So she doesn't seem to be equipped with any weapon, so I guess she's some sort of a supporter debuffer hero. And yes, she doesn't do anything apart from sitting down and looking at her purple flames. Wait, I just realized that this one looks like a purple thread. Maybe she uses her thread along with her spider to do her attacks or some sort like that. Pretty amazing design. And yeah, she doesn't really wield any armor except for the shoulder pads and like a half helmet, some sort of like half helmet robe. Alright, so that's basically her character design. Let's go over her stats here. So she has an S rating for health, A rating for attack stats, and B rating for defense, speed, and critical rate. So basically she's some sort of a supporter or debuffer hero based from these stats alone. So let's check out Muriel's ability, starting off with a trait known as the power rate. This is actually an aura when a team member with 4 or more positive effects attacks immediately launches a bonus attack up to 1 time per hero per round. So this one is something similar to Flarence where she applies this bonus attack to her allies, but this one is a passive ability. So if a team member already has 4 or more positive effects, right, they can immediately perform the bonus attack. And upon ascending her, this will reduce the requirement of the positive effect from 4 positive effects to 3 positive effects. Yeah, so this is, she requires at least 5th ascension in order to reduce this requirement. So I already tested her with this without her 5th ascension, right? It's pretty difficult in order to get the bonus attack unless you pair her with another supporter buffer hero in the team. So once you get this 5th ascension, right, on Muriel, then you do not need to pair her with another supporter buffer hero on the team. Her next ability would be the Beam Strike. That is her basic ability that deals 120% damage to one enemy and removes 1 negative effects on 1 team member. This one is especially useful in areas where enemies applies debuffs such as like the Wish of the Wind, which applies attack down and bleed on your heroes. So this one helps to reduce the amount of negative effect on them. However, there's a downside with this. It does not remove all of the negative effect, especially if that negative effect is in a stack mode. What the stack mode means is basically like the Shadow Captive boss. It applies like 2 stacks at the start of the round, and this Beam Strike is only able to remove 1 stack of that negative effect. So if enemies apply stack of negative effect, then this one only can remove 1 of them. And next would be her Dark Circle special ability, known as that provides random sets up to your allies. So at the end of the turn, if a team member doesn't have 3 positive effects, applies random step up to all team members for 2 rounds until all team members have 3 or more positive effects, up to 1 times every 3 rounds. So do take note that if the hero has 3 or more positive effects, right, this one will not trigger. So make sure that Muriel will go first before your second supporter hero, such as like Brand that applies like attack up and defense up buff, or shield, and then like Flarence and so forth. So make her to go first in the battlefield. And for the random steps up, right, it applies attack up, critical rate up, critical damage up, as well as speed up. This one is quite random. So when they mention this speed up, right, it also messed up the speed tuning of your heroes. So it's a double-edged sword to have this speed up in this random stats up buff here. And yeah, so that's basically her Dark Circle passive special ability. And finally, her ultimate ability is known as the Doom Skeleton that has a 4-turn skill cooldown. Gives 150% damage to all enemies. And then applies attack down version 2, which reduces the attack stats of the enemy by 50% to the primary target for 2 turns. Also applies Skeletal Force to all team members for 2 turns. So this Skeletal Force is something similar to Shane, which improves the damage by 5% for each positive effect on this hero. Alright, to summarize Muriel's abilities, basically she's a hybrid of Flarence and Shane together. The reason why I say so is because her power rate mimics something similar to Flarence that provides an AoE bonus attack but in a passive form. So as long as your heroes in the battle that has 4 or more positive effect, then they'll be able to perform that bonus attack. And then she also have something similar to Shane, the Skeletal Force, that improves the damage output of the particular hero if they have multiple positive effects, something similar to how Natalia's skill mechanics work. Alright, and this one doesn't have any limit, so the more buff or positive effect on that particular hero, then they'll be able to do more damage. Alright, so that's basically her abilities. And where can we use her? She can be used to speedrun in many areas in the game depending on the heroes on your account, which I will demonstrate in my playtest in the No Man's Land dungeon as well as the Arcane Dominator dungeons. And before we head over there, let's check out the gears. So currently I'm gearing her in a Revival set as well as a Guard set. Revival set allows her to restore her health 10% at the start of the turn or 20% if under 50% health, which can only be triggered 2 rounds or 2 times per round. And Guard set is basically to protect her, especially if you want to use her in the Edge Magisteria to sustain the initial nuke from the enemies. The stats that I prioritize on her would be the health, some defense, but most importantly the speed to go first, and then some focus to apply the attack down. She doesn't really need resistance because she can remove the negative effect by performing her basic ability. Alright, so basically that is the stats to prioritize, and those are the ones that I find in my gears. So let's quickly go through the gears, starting off with the weapon. There's a triple roll on speed, critical rate and precision is not ideal for her. Ideally this one should be health percentage, defense percentage, and some focus percentage here. Next will be the helmet. There's some health, resistance, defense, and agility. And this is the armor with some health percentage, focus, agility, and attack percentage. Attack percentage is not useful for her because she's not a damage dealer. Then we have a speed boots to allow her to go first in the battle. This one has some focus and defense. Critical damage is not useful for her because she's not a damage dealer. And this one will be a health ring with a triple roll on speed, some focus and health percentage, and flat stats health. And finally, we have a focus necklace. Has a triple roll on speed, some defense, and flat stats health. Ideally, this one you want to have a health percentage and some focus stats to improve her survivability. Her glyphs and abilities are all maxed out. She doesn't have any mastery books invested in her, and she doesn't have any ascension. Alright, so let me showcase her in those dungeons that I've mentioned earlier in this video. Alright, so the first dungeon that I'll be showcasing Muriel will be inside the Bane Wraith in the No Man's Land dungeon, where we farm the wood materials to upgrade our wood hero skills. So for this team, as you can see here, I have Muriel, Pauline, Scarlet, as well as Bella. And yeah, so basically I speed to Muriel to go first, so she will be able to buffer everyone before her damage dealers will deal damage to the enemies here. So Bane Wraith boss, right, his skill mechanics, basically he puts up a block damage buff, as you can see on the under his health bar there with the wings and the cross sign. So that one basically blocks the damage or reduce the damage taken out by your heroes here. So you need to have a lot of joint attacks, bonus attacks from your heroes here. So the best heroes that I recommend would be like Bela, Scarlet as well as Bullion. So let's check out the battle result for this No Man's Land dungeon. This Bane Wraith will take around about 47 seconds. The next dungeon will be the Flame Lizard at stage 11. So for this team, I'm using Muriel, Ciara, Natalia as well as Hori. For the spell selection, I'll be using Smoldering Flames as well as Sundering Purgatory. The speed tuning will be the same. Muriel need to go first to buffer everyone. Then once she dealt sufficient damage to the mobs on the first wave, this will trigger Ciara trait to wipe out everyone with her AoE trait. Then on the boss, basically you just deal maximum amount of damage with your water epic heroes here. So this one took around about 23 seconds to complete. Alright, so the third dungeon will be the Wrathful Flood on stage 11 in this No Man's Land dungeon. So for this team, I'm using Muriel, Ciara, and Tunua as well as Hori. Ciara is really good in all of those dungeons except for the Bane Wraith, so do use her along with the spell selection that I've mentioned earlier inside the Flame Lizard. So you want to deal maximum amount of damage with your single target damage dealers, especially for Antunua in Assassin set. So this one took around about 21 seconds, which is very fast when you use Muriel here. Alright, so for the fourth No Man's Land dungeon, I have here will be Deschmir on stage 11. For this team, I'll be using Muriel, Ciara, Rachel, as well as Augustine. The reason why I'm using Augustine here because he deals massive amount of damage to light enemies. But he also will be receiving additional damage from light heroes as well because he's a dark hero. So my heroes here have stacked amount of buff, which is placed by Muriel on the first round. And this allows your heroes to deal maximum amount of damage on the boss wave. So the battle result shows that it takes around about 23 seconds to complete. Finally, we have the fifth No Man's Land dungeon, which is the Shadow Captives on stage 11, where we found the Dark Hero skills. For this team, I'm using Muriel, Ciara, Alastair, as well as Aura. Aura is used here for his backup plan, where his ultimate ability will deal massive amount of true damage in case the other two heroes is not able to make it. So Alastair is the MVP here, which deals massive amount of damage to Dark Heroes. He deals 50% more damage against Dark Heroes here because he's a light affinity hero. So based from this battle result, it took around about 22 seconds, which is same across all of the other No Man's Land dungeons except for the Bane Wraith. Alright, to summarize the battles that was taken place using Muriel, we can see that Muriel is really helpful in speed farming all of these dungeons, which includes Bane Wraith, Flame Lizard, Wrathful Flood, Lord of the Holy Light, as well as Shadow Captive. So if you do not have Shane or Flarence, those two popular supported heroes in the game, you can use Muriel here. Muriel is basically the combination or the hybrid of these two heroes, where she brings in the bonus attack from Flarence and increased damage output per positive effect like Shane, but not as great as them, but just a mixture of these two. And she also brings in like the decreased attack to reduce the enemy's damage output if they manage to survive your hero's attacks. So that's basically the battles for the No Man's Land dungeon. Let's move on to the Arcane Dominator dungeon, where I'll be showcasing Muriel in the Roaring Tulpa, Ash Magisteria, Queen of Tides, Witch of the Wind. However, I will not be showcasing Muriel in Gemini Dragon because her skill kit doesn't bring any value here because she does not really remove the enemy's positive effect. And yeah, so I'll be only showcasing her on how you can use Muriel to speed farm these 4 dungeons. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. The first Arcane Dominator dungeon that I'll be showcasing Muriel will be the Roaring Tulpa on Helmut Stage 4. So Muriel is accompanied with Hitoshi, Bela, as well as Sacred Windstrax. Basically, my 2 damage dealers here will be Bela and Hitoshi, while Sacred Windstrax will be there to provide the additional buff so that my heroes have sufficient buff to deal the bonus attack. Because currently my Muriel does not have the 5th Ascension. So with 5th Ascension, right, you do not need to have another second supporter hero here. You can replace like Sacred Windstrax with other damage dealers or supported damage dealer like Flarence. So Hitoshi here is to deal AoE damage to wipe out these mini-mobs, whereas for Bela, she's there for her powerful single target damage dealing X. It deals massive amount of damage to the boss because she ignores a large portion of the enemy's defense. And when you pair that with a decreased defense as well as the increased damage taken, then she'll be able to deal even more damage. Also, right, Bela has a unique trait, something similar to Natalia, where the more positive effect she has, the more damage she can deal. So with that trait along with Muriel's skeletal force, this allows Bella to deal massive amount of damage to the enemy here. Alright, so as you notice, these enemies in the Roaring Tulpa likes to inflict those decreased defense. So with the help of Muriel's basic ability, she's able to remove those negative effects each time she performs her basic ability. I also have Sacred Mistress here as a backup to remove those negative effects in case Muriel is not able to remove them quickly. Alright, so let's check out the battle result for this team. So this team took around about 2 minutes and 5 seconds to complete this battle. Oh yeah, so if you have your heroes book, then this run will be even faster. So this is the second team, which I'll be showcasing along with Muriel. So this time I'm using Flarence instead of Sacred Instructs, and then I replace Hitoshi with Valeria. Valeria will be there to deal even more damage on the mobs because she's a fire affinity hero. And Flarence is there to provide that bonus attack, AoE bonus attack. So by having two supported heroes that provides a bonus attack, right, then your damage dealer will be able to do even more damage. But this one will be also a double-edged sword where the more attacks you deal to the boss, right, it will also charge up his rage meter quickly. So there's a higher probability where your heroes might get injured very quickly, especially when the boss have that attack up buff placed by the right guard there. Alright, so now my Muriel has placed the skeletal force. So the more buff my heroes have, the more damage they can deal. Alright, so with the help of Flarence's trait, we managed to take down the right side minion with a splash damage. The splash damage can be seen from those like the red flower icon on top of the hero's health bar. Okay, so the boss have one more health bar left remaining. Okay, we're almost there to complete this boss. So both of these heroes place the buff at the same time. So as you notice, Bella can do additional bonus attack there. So you'll be surprised that to know or to learn that these heroes that I'm using also takes roughly the same amount of time as like the epic heroes, just like maybe like 5 to 10 seconds difference. Alright, so the next Arcane Dominator dungeon that I'll be showcasing would be Magisteria on the Helmo stage 4. So Muriel is here along with Opal, Natalia, as well as William. So this is one of the combinations you can use to speed farm the Magisteria. So William here is like the second supporter hero here to apply additional buff, which is through his counter attack buff that doesn't have any buff duration. It will only be removed once your heroes receive damage. So the good thing about this Muriel here is although she's a weak affinity hero here, but she brings in one valuable skill here, which is a bonus attack. So whenever your heroes have 4 or more positive effect, right, they'll be able to do an additional attack after they perform their first ability. So this allows you to quickly clear out the fire imps around the boss. Because on Helmo stage 3 as well as Helmo stage 4, right, these fire imps, right, will be able to recover their health once they receive a fatal hit. So you need an additional AoE attack to wipe them out again. So the boss have already like one more health bar at around 50% HP. My heroes are dealing massive amount of damage with the help of William's trait and also with the amount of buff stacked on them. Alright, so there you have it. This battle is really fast. So let's check out the battle result here. So this one took around about 1 minute and 32 seconds. So if you do not have Shane or Flarence, then you can use Muriel here to speed farm this boss. And then the third Arcane Dominator dungeon here would be the Wrathful, would be the Queen of Tides. For this team, I'm just using epic heroes to showcase how you can use Muriel, although if you do not have any legendary heroes on your account. So for this team, I have Hitoshi, William, and then as Eddie Chris. So basically, their responsibilities are Hitoshi is to clear out the Wraith, and then Eddie Chris is here primarily to remove the positive effect from the boss to prevent her from getting 4 positive effect. Otherwise, she'll be able to trigger her dragon bombs that's able to strip away all of your hero's positive effect. William, on the other hand, will be there to apply the decrease attack, decrease defense, as well as providing the shield buff whenever your heroes receive AoE damage, like as you can see here. So here there's not much buffer here. So if you have Muriel on the 5th Ascension, right, all of the heroes here will have 3 positive effect easily. So they will be able to do additional bonus attack here. Alright, so we have already taken down the right water guard there. The right crab that heals the boss. So by knocking out the right tide guard, then it allows you to speed up the run because there's no healer healing the boss. We just need to take care the boss shield, which you can strip away using Edicris. Currently, my Edicris doesn't have much focus stats, so you might see some message popping up is the boss has resisted his ability to strip away the positive effect. So this team is a 100% win rate, just that you need to make your Edicris tanky. Currently, I'm gearing Edicris in a revival set, but in a attack gears. So I would recommend just to build him with maybe like a health ring and more focus, because his primary goal is to remove the positive effect and let Hitoshi deals the damage, because although the Queen of Tides boss here can stun your enemy, stun your heroes with her water prison, if you have Muriel speed tune to go first, then she'll be able to remove that water prison. So this prevent the boss from stunning your heroes. Alright, we are closing to 16 rounds. That's why I speed up this video, because this one took quite a long time to clear. But you can speed up the run using legendary heroes if you have them on your account. So this one took around about 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So let's check out a different team combination where I'm now using Rachel as well as Antonoa. Antonoa is my best single target damage dealer for the boss as well as the mobs here. And then I have Rachel as my buff stripper. You need to have at least one buff stripper in your team to manage the boss positive effect. So if you're not able to one-shot the boss in the first or the first round, then it's highly recommended to get a buff stripper here. So the target priority is to remove the right tide guard first to speed up the run, because if you have him around, he'll be able to heal the boss. And then we'll prioritize hitting the boss after that. So I speed tune my heroes to go in a certain order, where it should be Muriel, Rachel, Antonoa, and then Hitoshi, but somehow my Antonoa is much faster here. Ideally, you want Rachel to go before Antonoa to strip away any positive effects, such as like the large shield. The good thing about having Rachel here is she works something similar to the epic hero Jonathan, where he places a AoE shield, but this one Rachel places a AoE like a continuous heal or something, where each time your heroes get hit, they will recover a portion of their health. So this team took around about 1 minute and 27 seconds to complete. Now let me compare what if we switch out Antonoa with Shane. So what happens if you use another powerful supporter hero in the game like Shane? Because Shane brings in like the karma down, something similar to how increased damage taken works, and also an AoE attack down. And then he also boosts up your damage dealer, the one that has the highest attack stats, which is Hitoshi here. Alright, so the enemy have the karma down and attack down. That's where you see the crab does not do much damage to your heroes. So whenever you take down the Tight Guard, right, it will also remove all of the positive effect from the boss. And there you see the water prison has taken effect, but Muriel is able to remove the water prison. So she's really good in removing those water prison on your heroes. And she also works really fine when, in case if your heroes, like the Edge Magistra, right? If the Edge Magistra places the bomb, she can also remove that bomb. Alright, so the boss has around about 57% health left with 1 HP bar. Right, so Rachel is the MVP here. She finished out the boss here. So the better result, this one only took 1 minute and 29 seconds, which is pretty close like the first attempt with Antonua. Next would be the Wish of the Wind on Helmut Stage 4. And for this team, I'll be using Muriel and 3 epic heroes who are Myron, Shadowblood, William, as well as Natalia. So currently my Antonua is really fast. Basically, you want to speed tune your Muriel faster than Myron Shadowblood, but I do not want to change too many hero gears around because I already maxed out my gear preset, so I'm not able to save my gears without messing up my hero for my guild boss. Alright, so basically Myron Shadowblood is used here because she's really amazing in dealing true damage to the enemy. The more health they have, the more damage she can do. The true damage is represented with a yellow number there. Then this team is something similar to what you have seen in the Edge Magistra. Instead of like Myron Shadowblood, previously I used Opal. So this is like a something similar team. With William counter attack buff, your heroes will be able to do additional damage here. Then we can finish the enemies within the 5th round if we manage to deal sufficient damage. So those are the joint attacks from Myron Shadowblood. So you need to, if you want her to proc more joint attacks, you need to build her really fast, at least 1250 speed and above. Okay, we did not manage to wipe out the boss here, but I think we can do it on the 6th round. Alright, so let's check out the battle result, see how long does it take. So this one took around about 1 minute and 55 seconds, which is somewhat similar to our Bane Wraith time. And now for the second team combination on the Wish of the Wind. This time I replace Myron Shadowblood with Opal for a more consistent joint attack. And then I also replace William with Shane. Shane is basically is like a successor of William because he can bring in the increased damage output for each attacks that your hero do. And apart from that, Shane is really good in applying the karma down, attack down, and also boosting up your highest damage dealer here. For me, it would be Opal here. So Shane really works well with heroes that perform lots of attacks. So when you pair Muriel with Shane or Flarence with Shane, right, the more attacks they do, you'll ramp up that damage boost that is represented in the yellow icon above on top of the HP bar there. We almost nearly knocked out the boss here. So if you are able to do sufficient damage, we can wipe out the boss in round 4. Alright, so this round is also pretty fast. Let's see how fast it took. So the battle result shows 1 minute and 18 seconds. So if you have these 2 heroes, then you can speed farm the Wish of the Wind quickly. Alright, so that's basically the showcase of Muriel. Do let me know what you think about Muriel. Is it worth getting her through this limited summon using your Stardust? And if you found this video helpful, do give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, you can click on the subscribe button as well as ringing the notification bell to stay up to date whenever I upload a new video on this channel. And if you have any questions regarding about Muriel, you can post your comments, your questions below in the comment section, and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!